When the world was on the brink of destruction, one man's decisions turned the tide of history. In the darkest days of World War II, with Britain teetering on the edge of defeat, Winston Churchill rose. His speeches echoed with hope, but it was his secret strategies behind the scenes that truly saved Britain and shaped the future of the war. What were these secret strategies? How did a single individual with so much on the line outmaneuver some of history's greatest military minds? And what was it about his leadership that brought Britain back from the brink? When Churchill took office in 1940, Britain was facing its darkest hour. France had fallen to the Nazi blitzkrieg, and Hitler's forces were sweeping across Europe. The British Isles were the last major stronghold standing against Nazi Germany. The odds? Overwhelming. Churchill's vision was clear. His message to Britain was simple: we shall never surrender. But it wasn't just his words that gave Britain hope. It was his unconventional military strategies that made all the difference. He understood the stakes and knew that Britain's survival depended on more than just defense. It was a battle for innovation, for clever tactics that would outsmart Germany's powerful military machine. One of Churchill's first secret strategies? Harnessing air power. In 1940, as Nazi bombers descended on Britain, the Battle of Britain became the first major military campaign fought entirely in the air. The Luftwaffe, led by Adolf Hitler, believed that Britain's RAF could be easily crushed. But Churchill had a different plan. He invested heavily in radar technology, a groundbreaking invention that allowed the RAF to spot German bombers before they even arrived. But Churchill didn't just rely on technology. He focused on boosting morale and ensuring that Britain's pilots had the best equipment possible. It was Churchill's insistence on relentless air patrols and strategic use of the few pilots they had that kept Britain in the fight. By the time the battle ended, the Luftwaffe had failed to break the British will, and in the process, Churchill had shown the world that air superiority wasn't just a luxury, it was a game changer. While Churchill was a master of public speeches, it was his more secretive maneuvers that were even more decisive. One of the most critical strategies he employed was intelligence and deception. Britain had cracked the German code, thanks to a group of brilliant mathematicians at Bletchley Park. Churchill understood the importance of keeping the Nazis in the dark about British intentions. By intercepting German messages and decrypting their codes, Britain was able to anticipate every move the Nazis made. But the secret didn't stop there. Churchill also ordered one of the most daring deception operations of the war, Operation Bodyguard. The goal? To convince Hitler that the Allies were planning to invade France at Calais, not Normandy. Fake armies, fake radio transmissions, and even inflatable tanks were used to create a phantom threat. When the Allies landed at Normandy in 1944, the Germans were completely caught off guard, believing it was a diversion. Another key element of Churchill's secret strategy was his decision to open a second front in the Mediterranean. After the success of the Battle of Britain, Churchill knew that the Nazis were strong in Western Europe, but their control of the Mediterranean and North Africa left them vulnerable. Churchill believed that if the Allies could push through North Africa and Italy, they could destabilize Nazi supply lines and force Germany to fight on multiple fronts. The invasion of Italy in 1943, though costly, helped divert German resources and tied down a large portion of their forces. While many criticized the slow progress in Italy, Churchill knew that each victory, no matter how small, was a step toward weakening the Axis. His Mediterranean strategy bought critical time and kept the pressure on the Germans from every angle. As the war progressed, Churchill's leadership remained vital. But one of his most important decisions came in 1944 D-Day. The Allies had long been planning an invasion of Western Europe, but where to strike? Churchill was key in convincing the Allies to land in Normandy, despite pressure to land closer to Calais. Churchill, remembering the lessons of deception, knew that Normandy was the perfect place. It was far enough from German defenses to allow a surprise attack, and it was close enough to quickly advance into France. When the invasion began, it was a massive success, a turning point in the war that eventually led to the fall of Nazi Germany. Winston Churchill didn't just lead Britain through World War II with words. He led with strategy, intelligence, and bold decisions. His secret strategies, whether through air power, intelligence, deception, or global military tactics, shaped the very course of the war. His leadership didn't just save Britain, it altered the fate of the entire world. Churchill once said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." And it was his courage, his relentless will to fight that turned the tide and saved Britain, and in doing so changed the world forever. Want more stories of history's greatest leaders? Subscribe now and discover how their decisions shape the world.